Collective. What is going on? Welcome into the channel. So happy to be with you always. My name is Deborah, owner of Purusha Holistic Wellness. And this is another episode of Purusha Intuitive, where we are going to focus on our health, our well-being, mind, body, soul through the lens of the tarot, the current astrology, and any channeled messages along with some Ayurvedic tidbits along the way. So let's dive into it. Grab a coffee, grab a tea, grab a beverage. It's a beautiful morning on my side of things. It feels very hopeful today. We've been getting a break a little bit in the astrology lately. Just after, specifically, I would say after the holidays, closing out Capricorn season, moving into Aquarius season, transits haven't been as intense as maybe they were leading up to the holidays, Sagittarius season, etc. So, and there's good and bad that comes with that. It's not saying that things are not happening for us. We still are being challenged on the mental, emotional level. There still are changes happening in our life, and there are still decisions that we need to make about those things while trying to take care of our well-being. And that can be a really tricky thing, especially modern day. Life is just so fast-paced. And one of my favorite components of Ayurveda that I've been reminded of a lot lately is it really looks at how you can support yourself in all that you do, right? It's that principle of honoring yourself in every way that you can, right? And yes, it doesn't necessarily mean that you have to live this bougie lifestyle of self-care. Maybe you can. That's awesome if you can. It would be, but it's more about just being present in the moment, really evaluating, is this going to honor me or is this going to hinder me, right? Is this going to be life-giving for my energy, or is this going to be something that's going to deplete me or take me down a road that I don't even want to go down? Sometimes it's hard to be that mindful in the moment, right? Especially if we are already dealing with some type of physical ailment or whatever, some stressors. We all have a lot going on right now. And really, there has been this theme to honor self. It is a switch in perspective, right? Like it is about being a little bit more selfish, self-focused. Again, not that you have to be rude about it to anybody, but putting yourself first because of the changes, because of the decisions that are on the table, etc. So we'll start off the reading with an energy cleansing, like I like to do, just to kind of set the tone, set the vibe for the reading, cleanse out those places we might feel blocked, stuck, limited. It's a really good time to set your own intention as well. Especially if you do have something on your heart, mind around your well-being, messages you would like to receive from spirit, definitely give that over. Be open to receive. It really is a great way to personalize these collective readings. Also, feel free to drop comments below during the reading. I love to interact. I try to keep up as much as possible. Sometimes I do get in my own world. So, but I will definitely get to it. So, and I also do personal readings. I offer a variety of healing and wellness services. Readings are one of them. If you want me to look at your specific situation, how it's faring, where it's headed, or if you're interested in more of that realignment of self, your mind, body, soul, I do energy healing as well as Ayurvedic or holistic wellness consultations. And I would love to help support in whatever way possible. If you're interested, definitely hit me up. All the info to get into contact with me is in the description box below. All right, let's get into it. I bless you with pure love and light, pure source energy, pure loving grace. I release anything that is not for your highest and best. Any fears, doubts, insecurities, lack of worth, lack of value, pain, anger, frustration, impatience, overwhelm. Cleanse it and release it from our being so that we may see and understand the messages clearly and help to make me a clear and open channel for the collective. Thank you, Father God, Spirit guides, guardian angels, Mama Love. Okay. All right, so let's get into it. So kind of as I was hearing, like, you know, don't get mad at me because I think this is a message that's been coming through a lot. Slowing down, right? Or just maybe a better way to say it is like taking your time as you're working through different things. I was hearing like, you know, I was feeling like pressure in my head. You could be experiencing tension, headaches, or just in Ayurveda, it's about not getting enough prana, enough life force into our physiology. And that's really what enlivens our overall well-being, right? Is that prana. And yes, it is connected to our breathing. We are in a season where there's a lot of colds and congestions and all that kind of stuff. So it is kind of hard to breathe, right? Depending on where you're located. But there are practices that you can do to kind of help that, whether it is just doing some intentional breathing. I really like the alternate nostril breathing, the pranayamic practice. It actually helps bring in cohesion to our right and left hemisphere within the brain. It's incredibly therapeutic. It's very good for our stress levels, calming, you know, whatever's going on in that moment, fears, anxiety, and it really helps ground and stabilize, not destabilize, stabilize you. It's actually a powerhouse, and you can do like 5 rounds of breathing, you know. Definitely look it up if you're interested. You can always reach out to me as well. So overarching energy is salt. Salt is used for purification and protection in spiritual herbology. On this card, it symbolizes, banishing negativity, and it does have that protection component. A lot of people will put salt around their doorways to protect their home, to protect their environment, on the windowsills, etc. There's a lot of different ways that, and if that's not your vibe, like if you don't want to go sprinkle salt around your house, you don't have to do that, you know, but we can set intention, right? We can say a prayer, ask for a blessing of covering over our family, over ourselves, whatever we're navigating through, right? You know, we can even like find some affirmations or something that reminds us we are safe, we're protected, and things are going to be okay. I'm a huge believer, obviously, in angelic realms, higher beings that also come alongside and protect us. Time is about presence and self-awareness. So this tags back to exactly what I was talking about in the very beginning. Being present with yourself and your experiences and what you're navigating, because what I'm hearing is there's like a lot of key pieces of information that you're going to need as you're navigating towards whatever your goals, your desires are, especially as it relates to health. Anytime we're changing, health can be a tricky dynamic because it is very intertwined to our emotional, our mental, even our spiritual, you know? I mean, that's definitely how Ayurveda looks at it, the whole body, the total. And those things start on the vitiation where we disconnect from self. It starts on those subtler levels, meaning those places we might not even be paying attention. And so when we are trying to change those things, it's very important to be present in the process, to be self-aware of where we are at, what we need, what's going on, right? Like what our knee-jerk reactions are, etc. So we can make those adjustments accordingly. I think that message was coming up a few weeks ago of just like, not moving through stuff too quickly, because it kind of like ruins the essence of whatever you're learning, whatever information, whatever wisdom, I should say, that you're gaining in this process. Lavender, I love lavender. It's so peaceful, tranquility, kindness, self-care. I love it. So continuing to invest in yourself in whatever way possible. I do love this card because it shows the lavender plant with the crystals. I love the crystals, obviously. They, you know, hold pure forms of energy. And so if crystals are your thing, you can even meditate with crystals. There's a lot of different ways to use that in practices. Some people put them in their spiritual, or their baths, I should say. If you want to do something that's a little bit more ritualistic, you can do herbs and crystals even in your shower, or like I was saying earlier, you can put them up in your windowsills around places of entry as protection, right? I have a couple evil eyes in my house above my doorways just to make sure, you know. But again, that can manifest in any different kind of way for you. This is really just stuff that's bringing peace to our soul. So investing in things for yourself that helps you feel peaceful. And a lot of that comes from the practice of self-awareness. When is too much, right? Like, when do I need to let my physiology, my mind, my body, my soul kind of settle down and recollect? And so it looks like it's a really purifying week. If I'm honest, I haven't really looked at the upcoming astrology yet. But today it's a little tense. We've been seeing, it's not bad. Like, we have help and support where it's necessary and where we need it. But a lot of that is coming through on those places of us, you know, proactively investing in the healing for ourselves, whatever that means for you, mental, emotional, physical. So doing right by yourself today. That's, and even this week, that's where we're getting the most benefit, not by pretending things don't exist or turning a blind eye or not wanting to look at the problem, because that can be a little bit detrimental. I don't really see you doing that this week. If anything, you have this like purification mindset back to this salt energy. It's purifying in order to feel more grounded, in order to feel more protected in your life. Not only, and that's the thing, you know, how we feel about ourselves, our health, our well-being is the foundational ground point from which we work from, right? That's what allows us to manifest, to be successful in our own right, whatever that may look like for you. I love this mint. And so we're closing out this week with abundance, persistence, proliferation. Mint in ritualistic work is directly connected to money. So if you're trying to make some money, you can use a little bit of mint. Or, you know, it's also very cooling for the body, right? So if you're finding a lot of heat in your physiology, it helps kind of calm that down. And that's when we're talking about moving slower in Ayurveda, that actually happens through the quality of coolness, of cold. Like, and not that you have to like freeze yourself, but maybe, you know, don't keep the room so hot, the house so hot, especially if you live in a cold place and, you know, maybe it's a little bit, it's very cold right now where I'm at. So it's hard not to keep warm, you know, but if you have, you know, the thermostat up to whatever, 75, maybe bring it down a little bit, especially if you're feeling hot. Sorry, I know that sounds really stupid, but that's the beauty of Ayurveda, is it can be these really simple things, you know, taking a lukewarm shower, something that's a little bit more cooling to the physiology, ingesting things like mint or coconut or yogurt, etc. Those are all, cucumbers, those are all very cooling to the physiology. And basically what it's talking about is, yes, there is this value of taking your time, being present and aware in the process, but I'm also hearing like not burning through your resources too quickly. So in the blocked energy is the cauldron, creation, opportunity, caring. And that is exactly why we're being slowed down right now, because it's being intentional about the creation process. It's being intentional about who and what you are and what tools you have to work with, what tools you maybe need to get to come alongside to your aid, and then actually putting that into practice, implementing it. All right, let's see how this rolls with the tarot this week. So I like this. It's a nice energy. It's a lot of promise. It's a lot of hope. Even though there is creation being blocked, I think a lot of that is coming, like I said, 100%. The wake-up call comes out, judgment, awakening in this deck. It's related to Tulsi. Tulsi is holy basil, and that's another plant that's really great for abundance. It's also a very delicious tea. However, it can be very heating if it's used in excess, ironically. So basically what I'm hearing is like, we are being brought to awareness around these things where maybe we are moving too quickly, or we're not being mindful, conscious of each step that we're taking. We're missing some of the lesson, right, to whatever capacity that is. And I think a lot of this stems back to self-love and self-care. As rudimentary as that might sound, when we're not present, we don't really know what we want, right? Like, we don't know what we want. We don't know where we're at. We don't ask ourselves the right question, i.e., does this feel good for me? Sometimes we can put ourselves in compromising positions and we just do it because we feel like we should, and that's not life honoring, right? So it's okay. So we have grounding and stability. I like that. 6 of Pentacles, dealing with, or its symbolism is the pine. New beginnings for you, the Fool, Dandelion. This feels whimsical. It feels hopeful. I like that there's a butterfly in the background because it does really speak to rebirth. It's not just new beginnings. It's new beginnings in a way that you are approaching it with a sense of empowerment, a sense of strength. You might not know where you're going or where you're heading, but you feel hopeful. You feel hopeful about what's in front of you, about what you're doing to kind of honor yourself. 6 of Pentacles, 7 of Swords in your environment. Someone, something being a little bit shady. Lies, messages, untruths that you're buying into. Beliefs about yourself, or beliefs that are not really true. They could be about yourself, but they could just also be about, what's going on in a certain situation, a certain dynamic. Someone or something is trying to find more stability, and you're moving forward, like I feel like something doesn't want you to leave them behind. And this just can be something that you're really working to cleanse and purge yourself from. You've worked to detach. You might not feel 100% ready to detach, but you're already there, if that makes sense. Like, maybe you feel like you could learn a little bit more or be a little bit further along, but there is this vibe for you this week of like putting things into practice. You're feeling inspired. And that inspiration is making you focus on new things. It feels exciting. It feels fun. It feels lighthearted. There's a lot of ending here too with the world. Like something knows that this is the end, right? And you're already signaling that in your energy. It's interesting for you because And this might just be where that part of you that knows you kind of got to gather your resources a little bit more, because the Fool is very whimsical, very lighthearted. Like, I'm just gonna, and in the traditional deck, it shows him like walking off a cliff, like walking into the unknown essentially. And your energy feels like, I mean, you have some type of framework to work from that feels good and you feel like it's enough. But there's also this energy of you still trying to build your resources, or again, like you're going from I'm inspired to let me wait it out. Let me see how this rolls. It does look like you're waiting on, if this is someone or something in your environment, you're waiting for some closure outside of you. If this is within yourself, it's like I see you kind of like just working with yourself, being observant, being patient. Going back to that message of self-awareness. You're learning yourself so you can know how to better function within yourself, or the things that you need to look at, the things that need your attention. It feels heavy, like the energy around you, surrounding you, definitely feels heavy. This is something about like a lot of sadness, a lot of disappointment that surrounds you, a lot of emotion. And whether you're experiencing the emotion within yourself or you're getting sucked into other people's emotion, it goes back to that energy of lavender. You can even like take some lavender essential oil, spray it on your pillow, you know, before you go to sleep at night. You can even, aromatherapy recommends like putting a little bit of essential oil on a Kleenex and you can breathe it in. There's also like little nose inhalers too, if you want to get into it. But lots of different options to kind of promote that tranquility. Because even though like your energy looks good, you look hopeful, you look ready to go, understanding maybe there are some things to work on, but you're not shying away from what you need to do. Where in your environment, there's a lot of emotion, there's a lot of Three of Swords, the Moon is a lot of heartbreak, a lot of sadness, a lot of disappointment from where things are headed, what is closing out. I'm going to see how this is directly affecting you. Because again, you look like, it's not blinders on, it's just like continuing to press forward. But again, the one thing I would say is try not to act too quickly. That's where you're getting stuck, because we're going from a 1 to a 3. We skip that 2, right? Not that it's horrible, because when you get to the 3, you're waiting a little bit, taking your time. Maybe even kind of recognizing that you skipped over some things. And some of those things are directly related to making peace with the change. Again, where I feel like it's important to be present with yourself, to process your feelings, your emotions as you're navigating whatever you are. The loss of something that you wanted to be beneficial. And it had a lot of hope. It had a lot of promise topically, right? But it is where it's at now. And that's why changes and adjustments need to be made. Also, what's coming in is way more heart honoring. You're going from the 2 of Cups to the Lovers. This is completely different energies. You know, the 2 of Cups is like, yeah, let me see if this works. Where the Lovers is like, I know this is my vibe. I want this connection, or like, this just feels so good, so right for me, my mind, my body, my soul. I know it's where I need to be, right? It's plugging into, whatever, like a workout community, a group of people who are just honoring, who actually are resonating with who you are, right? And what you think and what you feel and what you believe. And there comes a lot of empowerment from these types of connections. These connections aren't bad. They're exciting. They feel like there's a lot of promise, but they also have a tendency to fall flat if they are not nurtured in the right way, right? And so maybe once upon a time, something looked really good and it felt like maybe it would work for you. And now where you're at present day, whether you wanted the change or not, or felt like it was forced upon you, it's helping you redirect into something that is way more abundant and heart honoring. It's hard to let go of the past right now. This 5 of Cups has been coming up a lot for us. Disappointment. In the traditional deck, it's like concentrating on problems instead of what you have going for you, and etc. So trying not to get too lost in the shoulda, woulda, coulda, and had it been different, right? This goes back to that purification. It's not only cleansing out the toxic things for you, but it's also making sure that you're like replacing it with things that are good, right? Like replacing it with things that are actually a little bit more abundant, a little more in alignment with like who you are, with what you want, etc. I like this. This is a really powerful message. I love it. Let's close it out with a few oracles. As much as creation is being blocked this week, I feel like you're also seeing your path forward a little bit more clearly, right? Like you might not be, there is a little bit again of that regret lingering in the collective. I wish I would have done this sooner, said this, done that, whatever, right? But we can't really live in that energy. I know it sounds maybe a little cliche. It is divine timing. It's about where you were at the time, trying not to guilt and shame yourself into some type of submission that like doesn't really help the situation anyway. That's why it's important to move a little bit slower, to be present in our experiences, to really learn and connect with the lessons. That is the power of healing, right? And we just get more of what we want when we do heal. So mine as well, right? Unlimited. I love this. I create my reality. I should go this way, sorry. I create my reality with the thoughts I think and the things I focus on. I am unlimited in my ability to create a beautiful life full of good and love, 100%. And a lot of that also does boil down to our perspective on things. That message has been coming up a lot too, right? Like we can't control some of the disappointments, some of the difficulties, the choices other people make, etc., right? But we can learn to create out of those things. There is unlimited potential. Life is powerful. Our mind, our body, our soul is powerful. Consciousness is powerful. And we actually can transcend into that unified field to tap into that endless potential for whatever resources we need. It's accessible to us all, right? And actually, it's in direct alignment with our health and our well-being. Okay. Ooh, all right. Nice. I love this. Okay. Guidance system comes out and creator of happiness. I'll take it because I think it ends really nicely with our reading today. A lot of the slowing down, we've kind of touched on this, is so we can reconnect with our guidance system. It says, I love using my emotions as a guidance system. They show me how close or far away I am from what I want. When I'm feeling joy and doing the things I love, I am in a state of allowing for my desires. I notice when I'm feeling low vibrational thoughts and shift them to release the resistance. 100%. Those things that are not true, the negative, the toxic thoughts we think that other people put on us, all that does is restrict. It restricts. It causes the fear, the anxiety, the disconnect from a peaceful, tranquil nervous system, etc. And when we listen to our emotions instead of trying to turn a blind eye, shove them down, whatever, they're actually indicating whether something's working or not, you know? And when we are recognizing it's not working because this is making me feel really shitty, then we can go back to the drawing board and reevaluate what aspect. Is this coming from me, or is this coming from this person, situation that I'm dealing with, you know? And it's easy to kind of blame, but if we take an honest look at ourselves, oftentimes what's being reflected to us, whether we like this or not, it's not my favorite, but oftentimes what's being reflected to us in our environment is connected to a root, a belief within ourselves. And that's exactly why this guidance system is so powerful. That's why it's important to have clarity of consciousness. That prana, that life force energy, helps to do that, because it also helps us see people, situations, dynamics clearly. And that helps us to become the creator of our happiness, right? I reclaim my power to create my own joy and happiness. It is not dependent on any outside source or individual. Therefore, it cannot be taken away. It can always be found within me. I love this. And I think this is a lot tied back to just like not letting the outside bullshit infiltrate. It doesn't really look like you're doing that this week. I feel like if anything, you are staying kind of high vibrational in the way that you're focusing on whatever this is that you're building over here. It's super beautiful. And honestly, there's something amazing that's coming as a result. Whether you're just like seeing the results of your effort, of your labor, you know, you get good feedback from your doctor, you know, like you end up investing in your wellness routine and you're feeling awesome, your pain goes away, you're sleeping better, you know, all the things that taking care of our body really affords us. Again, it's like that foundational piece so that we can create our happiness, right? From that space of unlimited potential. The world is your oyster. And not to be overly optimistic, but I really do. Not only do I think, but I see in my work that when we do take care of ourselves, our mind, our body, our soul, that is really where we can become the most successful. That's where we empower ourselves to overcome any obstacle, any limitation. It's what gives us the strength and the courage to clear that stuff out so that we can actually honor self first and foremost, because, you know, that's the main player in your world and you deserve it, right? You deserve to live the best life ever. Thank you so much for your time, energy, always. I super appreciate you. I hope you've enjoyed the reading. I hope you found messages that resonated here for you. Definitely drop comments below if you did. I'd love to hear, or just say hey, connect, share a little love, a little TLC. I so appreciate all the love, all the support to the channel. No, it blesses my heart. I will be live Monday, yep, for a weekly check-in. So look forward to seeing you there. Sending all the love and blessings your way. Talk to you soon. Thanks for joining.